Who were the displaced persons after World War II? Imagine losing your home, your community, and sometimes even your family, all because of a war that tore across Europe and beyond. That's what happened to millions after World War II. Displaced persons were people forced to leave their homes due to the war's destruction, border changes, and persecution. Many had survived Nazi concentration camps or forced labor camps, but now faced a new challenge: finding safety and a place to rebuild their lives. These people included Jewish survivors of the Holocaust and non-Jewish civilians from many countries. They couldn't go back home because their towns were destroyed or because new borders had shifted. Some faced hostility or violence if they tried to return, especially in places like Poland or the Soviet Union. Many ended up in camps set up by the Allied forces in Germany, Austria, and Italy. These camps were often in poor shape, sometimes near former concentration campsites, showing how chaotic the post-war period was. Jewish displaced persons included those who had hidden during the war or fled east to the Soviet Union. Many refused to go back to their old homes because their communities had been wiped out or because they feared violence. By 1947, about 250,000 Jewish displaced persons were still in Europe. Non-Jewish displaced persons were just as varied. They included forced laborers who had been forced to work in Germany, prisoners of war, political refugees, and civilians displaced by border shifts and ethnic cleansing. For example, millions of ethnic Germans were expelled from Eastern Europe after the war, adding to the displaced population. The Allied authorities tried to organize their resettlement by categorizing them into groups like evacuees, forced workers, and stateless persons. Many could not return home immediately because borders had changed or because of political instability. From 1945 to the early 1950s, organizations like the United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration helped with relief, shelter, and repatriation efforts. Despite these efforts, many displaced persons stayed in camps for years, waiting for a new beginning. Forced labor systems during the war had a big impact on these individuals. Many had been forced to work under Nazi control, which made their recovery even harder after liberation. Their stories reminded us how civilians suffered during wartime, often enduring forced labor, persecution, and displacement. Understanding their experiences helps us see the full human toll of the war and the long road toward recovery.